So this week we're doing creative genius planning when you're in that place where you have two things that are kind of conflicting with each other. The goal would be to just focus on one, give it some time and attention some days, and then other days focus on the other, give that some time and attention. But for one reason or another, you just can't quite do that. Sometimes it's like you try to focus on one thing, but you feel like you're neglecting the other thing. And then so you go and focus on that thing, but now you feel like you're neglecting the first thing. And it's like you can't be fully present with each. Sometimes it's like there's just not enough time and energy in the week for both of the things. Sometimes one of the things just like takes a lot more time and energy than it usually does, and you're left with not enough for the other thing. This can happen with two conflicting dreams, and it happens a lot in the conflict between the dream and the current life. So then when you sit down to make your plan for the week, it's like I don't even know what to do here. Right? And the thing to do is address the dynamic that's happening and look deeper into it. So this is the work of creative genius planning, of work trying to like move from your most wise, brave, and creative self and how you're working with your dreams. This is the work on the weeks when you have that kind of conflict going on. I'm not saying you're gonna solve the conflict right here, right now in your creative genius planning. I'm saying this is the work at those times. This conflict situation is just one of the things you have to deal with almost any dream. It happens from time to time. If there's a part of you that's using this conflict as an excuse to say mean things to you, like, see, you can't stay focused enough to do the thing, or see, like, this is impossible for you, or you always quit, or that kind of thing, we're gonna tell that voice right now it's wrong. This is a thing that comes up with almost every dream. It's totally normal. Everyone deals with this with their dreams at some time. It's fine. You're going to deal with it. In fact, you are going to grow through this. Working through this conflict is going to help you be able to access more of your inner creativity, clarity, power, magic, wisdom, and you are going to be stronger on the other side for having faced this head on. So the thing to do is address the dynamic and look deeper into it. So what is the dynamic? In your journal, I want you to draw two bubbles like this. Write the things that are in conflict in them like this. I just put current life and dream. Sometimes it's job and art, or dream one or dream two. You know what your conflict is. Now, you're just gonna follow your imagination here. Imagine you have these two things side by side, each in their own bubble. What's happening between them? Now just go with the first thing that comes to mind. It can be weird, that's fine. It doesn't have to make sense. Often, if it doesn't make sense to your conscious mind, that's actually a really good sign that you're receiving a deeper intuitive wisdom, or it's just happening the way it's happening. We are following our imagination, just exploring what's happening between these two things that are in conflict. What is the actual dynamic here? Just writing down everything that comes to mind. Again, doesn't have to make sense. Following the rabbit holes. Where does this dynamic come from? What's the real conflict? So this is going to get uncomfortable. This is where your most difficult stuff comes up, but this is the stuff you have to work with and face if you want to be able to move forward with your dreams. This is where I don't deserve to have my dream, or I'm not good enough, or I'll just waste a bunch of time and money and then quit. Whatever the story is for you, this is one of the places where it's going to come up. And this is part of what needs to be addressed. Right? Because here's the truth. You can fit different things into your schedule. You can make time for your job and your family and your dream and your other dream. It's logistics and choices. And obviously, some of these logistics are more difficult than others. Some of these choices are more difficult than others. That's absolutely true. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm saying that the outer work of making space for more than one thing in your life is not complicated. When it feels complicated, when it feels like there's no way to solve it, that's because there's something going on in the inner work. You're not looking at that deeper conflict. You're not seeing what's really happening beneath the surface. And you're not tending to whatever old story or trauma or wound it is in you that's activated. So when it feels complicated, you're not seeing the places where your dream is calling for healing, and that's what you need to be looking for. This is the real work of making dreams real, this internal growth and healing that your dream is always calling you towards. These are your next steps. So if you're watching from inside Dreambook, I've got links below to tools and classes that are going to help with the inner work. So pick a practice from there, work with it this week, and then check in with your conflict again next week and see where it's at. And remember the thing that I always say, there's always something you can do. So when you're not seeing that there's something that you can do, and I'm not saying that you can always do the thing you want to do or the thing you think you should do, but there's always a thing that you can do to engage with your dreams and with this whole process. So when you're not seeing that, that means you're listening to some kind of inner critic or wound, or you're caught up in how you think it should be. So that means this week you really need to focus on this inner work so you can come back into that place of being connected and engaged with your dream. And also connected and engaged with your creative genius, that most wise, brave, and creative part of you. That's the part of you that always trusts that there is always something you can do.